Welcome to another Storytime Sunday, where we will be well, that's a good start. She struggles to get her intro out, let alone reading a whole ass book. But anyway, hi Luke, how you doing? Today we'll be continuing to read One for the Road, which has currently been very good. I have been enjoying it. I'm good. It's been a good Sunday. I finished Raincoat today. That was very good. Kind of sad it's over now though. Me. Oh well. New games are there. There's always new games out there. So what's One for the Road? Let me give you a summary of about 50% of the book so far. We're on 46% after 2 streams. I'm going to have to start vetting the next book already. This one's going way fast. So, after much confusion, waking up in the desert, stumbling into a ramshackle bar that seemed to slowly get better and better and better as more people arrived, Miguel has realized that he has in fact died. And he is in what seems to be a bridge to the afterlife. He's not quite there yet. People come here to this bar when they die. Then they have like one last party. Their past relatives come to collect them and then they pass on. But there's something a bit weird about Miguel being here. No worries. No worries, Void. You weren't late. I've only been streaming like a whole minute. Like 3 minutes. It's not late. It's all good. But Miguel's a bit strange for being here. There's something a bit strange about him being here because he came here early. No one comes here early. He is dead. He is dead. This is the bridge to the afterlife. He is dead. He came here early, and all the staff is really confused. Yeah, rode up? Oh no. Because they've never had a spirit appear this early anyway. No one's normally there before the staff, and he was there before all of the staff. So they're very confused, he's very confused, they're not sure what's going to happen to him, and then he needs to figure out how he can pass on before the night ends. Because if he doesn't pass, no one tends to stay here more than one night. So they don't know what will happen to him if he stays more than one night. So it's to figure out how to leave, figure out how to pass on. None of his family members seem to have come for him. The only one he can think of that would be his mother, but he barely remembers him as his mother died in childbirth. His grandparents also here, I believe those were ones he could do. He ended up taking part in someone else's celebration, but couldn't pass on with them. What if he's just faster than the staff? Maybe. I don't think so, though, because they've proved how fast they are. I mean, the bartender's literally an angel who can, like, fuck with time. So he's definitely not faster than the bartender. And I believe he was going to make his way to the back rooms, but it seems, given the chapter title, he's going to get somewhat distracted by the dance floor. Let's go! Driven forward by Raquel's gentle nudge, Miguel skidded to a halt just short of the stage. If that's Raquel's method of a gentle send-off, I'm glad she's not out to get me. Oh yeah, he made friends with the bartender. The back rooms. There are back rooms. We don't know what are in the back rooms, but there's something. Inspecting himself, he was glad to confirm, all his parts were present and accounted for, including his clothes. On the room's far side, Raquel had returned to cleaning her glassware. Thankfully, there weren't any tables in the way. Hitting a table at that speed, he shuddered at the idea, forcing his brain to dismiss it. After several failed attempts, the image of him cut in half by a table finally subsided. Now that's an intrusive thought for you. No clip there. No clip. Walking farther into the room, he noticed the unique events going on at every table. They were like little islands nestled together but independent. If every life was a small island, then the Dia del Muertos theme was like water flowing around it, supplying anything needed for the experience but not controlling it. There was a tug from every table he passed, like the current was trying to pull him to land. Yet Miguel resisted. As he moved between tables, attempting to focus on not bumping into anyone or anything, a tingling sensation ran down his spine. It reminded him of the silver blue things that watched him earlier. Craning his neck in a wide circle, he tried to locate any of the wispy shapes, but none presented themselves. They're out there, but where? Miguel's steps slowed, and tension gripped his chest. The air's temperature dropped, and his breath came out in steamy plumes. The morose called out to him, trying to take hold of him and drag him down. It would be so simple just to sit back and stop struggling. Fill in on that. The morose seems to be the big negative emotions where people give up and they don't move on and they just become like basically husks by the sounds of it. We don't know particulars yet. That sounds like what it is. Miguel! A voice called out, snapping him back to attention. Miguel, my friend, over here! He spun around to follow the voice, seeing Juan Pedro motion for him over at the stage. With a dizzy nod, he started making his way through the crowd. Sounds like Dark Souls. Yeah, it kind of does. That's the next plague in the next FromSoft game. The morose. With a dizzy nod, he started making his way through the crowd, taking great pains to avoid colliding with anyone. Oh, I really do not want to get drawn into another celebration, especially not here. People danced, swayed, and sang with the band, creating an impressive obstacle of arms, legs, and bodies. Ducking under one dancing person, Miguel caught another's arm with his face. The arm passed right through his head, but he still flinched. Just because they don't need me in their party doesn't mean I want arms going through my head. Who does? He glanced back at the stage, Juan Pedro motioning for him to hurry. He sighed, taking a step forward. Still, I've only got one night. With that, he walked through a young man, not bothering to avoid him. Every instinct screamed to dodge, to move out of the way, but he strode forward without hesitation. He held his breath as he walked, unsure if it helped, but it gave him something to focus on. Reaching the stage, he let out a shaky breath. The tingling sensation of moving through so many people sent shudders through him. Why don't you come and play with us? Juan Pedro smiled and gestured to a waiting guitar at the back of the stage. Tonight is the night for fun and excitement. Come join Juan Pedro on stage. No, Miguel replied. I don't play. I mean, I've strummed a guitar once or twice, but that was years ago. And that was my wedding. There were people just being polite. Playing is only part physical, amigo. It's passion that drives the hand. Miguel shook his head. Maybe later, I'm on a mission now. Juan Pedro nodded, giving Miguel a solemn look. I'll hold you to that promise, amigo. Juan Pedro does not forget a promise. Yeah, I suppose that's what it's like with any artistic endeavor. Doing it is half the problem. Wanting to do it is the other half. For a moment, Miguel stood and watched the man take his place on stage. Juan Pedro was born to be an entertainer, eager for the spotlight and possessing a childlike level of energy. Even watching him was exhausting. He was a living personality, a spirit of celebration, drawing ecstatic screams from the audience. They transitioned through genres of music without missing a beat. 1 minute they played a growling rock song. The next, smooth country, and then classic jazz. Through it all, none of them showed any signs of slowing or ever stopping. Miguel stepped from the stage and onto the dance floor, determined to escape to the rec rooms with haste. I've never seen this many dancers over many years, but this is Moretos, okay. I got to put the accent back on. I have never seen this many dancers over many years, but never like that before. What do you call it? Muerta's voice called out. Transition from 1970s classical to 2010s dubstep. Now that is a mashup I want to see. Oh, nah, speaking of that, dubstep classical music is actually fucking great. Dubstep mashups of everything are great. It's so fun. He turned, expecting to find the hostess just over his shoulder, but she was not there. Instead, Mana Muertos had approached him from the front, surprising him by not surprising him. I wasn't really dancing, just trying to get out of the way of the music. She threw her head back into a laugh, a rich, sultry sound from deep within. There was nothing fake or sinister about the laugh, only deep mirth. Then I would be extremely interested to hear the music you were listening to. Here, she held out one gloved hand. Let me show you how to dance. Dance with death. Muertos glided to a starting position, one hand raised above her head and the other beckoning Miguel forward. I assume you know how to tango, yes? Oh, no, He protested, backing down, but her hand grasped his and she pulled him close. Have I not been an excellent hostess, Miguel? Would you really deny a lady a dance? She loomed over him, a larger-than-life presence. The familiar but fleeting memory returned, but continued to elude him. I don't want to keep you from your duties. You have important things to do, I'm sure. Oh, nonsense. If you do not know, then let me teach you. I would not be much of a hostess if I did not help you enjoy your stay, yes? Yes, I would deny a lady. You would deny a lady a dance? Void! But dance. At this distance, he could make out the full, vibrant colours of her makeup, the twisting swirls of paint, and now her steel eyes glittered with emerald flame. The fires no longer consumed all of her eyes, having diminished to only cover half. Her perfume was as sweet as summer flowers. The scent drew him in, begging him to get closer, to stay with her always. Then Juan Pedro spoke. It seems we have a special request from the lady of the house. The music changed, becoming faster, filled with, staccato pops. Probably not the pops it was on about, but... Miguel would have complained aloud and cursed Juan Pedro for his betrayal, but there was no time. Muertos took the lead, and Miguel followed. Using everything he had, he moved in time with Muertos. He tried to match the music, but it was too fast, too energetic. His feet felt 2 sizes bigger as he stumbled his way around the dance floor. For once, he was grateful that he could pass through others, since otherwise he would have been a wrecking ball that sent people flying instead. He looked like a man caught in a whirlwind. Muertos moved with precision, practice, and perfection, each pose locking in place. Even when she dodged his tumbling feet, she moved with style, intent, and purpose. The music and Muertos had a strange symbiosis. The more the intensity of the music built up, the more Muertos seemed to command the intention of those around them, which made the music even more noticeable. And if they had rehearsed, people formed a wide circle around them. The crowds turned and clapped, shouting out, whooping and cheers. Miguel's face turned a bright pink to a scarlet red as more people were being drawn into his celebration. Not only could they see him, but they were celebrating him. Is this something I'm doing, or is it because of Muertos? Probably because of Muertos, sweetie. If you're not dancing very well, then it's probably because of Muertos, sweetie. The speed of the music grew faster and faster, with Muertos always one step ahead. She moved with a wild passion, perfect precision, and raw energy. Despite her wild motions, not a single hair came out of place. Her hat's pom-poms swayed with the motions, like tiny dancers circling her head. He locked eyes on them, tracking their movements. To his surprise, it helped, like the cotton balls were putting the dance instructions into his mind. Is this me, or a function of this place? Can I dance now? Or is it making me? Oh, the existential dread. You're doing it! Muertos roared immense approval, despite his nervousness. He smiled. Then he laughed. His eyes closed for a moment, and he recalled an image of the last time he danced. It had been at his wedding, when he and Vanessa shared their first dance as a married couple. She was the spinning ballerina, and he was the stumbling fool. The more things changed. He smiled. So many loved ones had been there for that moment, a proper celebration of life. And Miguel's smile deepened. Hey, Brian, have you ever danced before? Yeah, I dance a lot. I used to do musical theater as a teen, so I dance a lot for that. Though I haven't done like coordinated dancing in a long time. Now it's just me in the house. When I'm really bored and I just need to move my body a little bit, I'll stick something on and I'll go and then I'll be happier again. It's a great way to make your brain make the happy chemicals, whether it wants to or not. More things changed. I'm the one out dancing here. That if this house is helping me, so be it. But this dance is my choice. All around them, couples joined in, dancing and whooping as they tangoed. Yet no one moved with the precision and timing of the hostess. With the striking of the last notes, she grabbed Miguel's hand, throwing her arms upwards before plunging him into a bow. The change in direction nearly threw his face into the floor. When nobody is looking and I'm really bored, I do a little dance or hop around. It's the best! It's the best, the best, the best, the best. Everyone should do a little jigs when no one's around. Or even, not even little jigs, just do absolute freaking flails and flail your whole body around. It's great. Everyone should do that kind of stuff when no one's looking for funsies. It's very funsies. Also, randomly screaming is also good. The crowd went wild with applause and shouts. Miguel nodded to the people who walked by, patting him on the shoulder and complimenting Muertos on her skill. She brushed off the praise with a friend. Oh, I dance a little. As the next song started up, he regarded the hostess. Why make an extra effort to help me? I mean, lots of people do not dance. I can't be the only one. No, but you were the one who seemed to call out for my help. She arched an eyebrow. Would you care to dance again? You were stepping on the floor much more than my feet by the end of our dance. He sighed in exhaustion. No. I need something a little more relaxed. I'll go sit at the bar for... She waved a hand, cutting him off. Plenty of time for the bar and drinks later. Why not check out the gaming area if you want something calmer? While it's not my cup of tea, the Marias tell me the rec room is totally cool. I'd have to find them first, but I'm afraid I've got myself all turned around with the dancing and everything. Well then, Muertos grinned, pointing over his head. I suppose it's good we're already here. Yay! Into the rec rooms. Green means go. Green means go. Green means go. Miguel entered the recreation rooms and shielded his eyes against the blinding light. While the ballroom area was neat and decorated for a celebration compared to this area, the bar looked shady and dingy. Also, this is the nerd rooms. This is where the nerds go when they die. Me, after drinking three cups of coffee, very shaky, my brain creates conspiracies and I randomly go, ha! In the middle of the high pitch. Perfect. What more do you need? That's great. It's good. Ha-ha! Birds aren't real! No, that's a very obvious conspiracy theory, to be fair. Oh, yeah. Oh, Sunday's been a hell of a week. I'm excited to start a new week, I really am. Hello, Snow Taco! Welcome! Welcome, welcome! It was a large square room reminding him of a community center. 3 hallways branched off from the room, each illuminated by either green, blue, or purple light. In the center of the room was a kiosk with a small sign reading, Help Station. Well, it's not great for me if I believe I did something you didn't like for the whole day. Oh, sweetie. It's okay, don't you worry. That's not the kind of conspiracy theory you should have in your head. Was that where that comment came from of you saying apologies for the chatting? Please don't worry about that. I'm not going to be, unless you're full on insulting me in the chat for some reason, I'm not going to be mad at you for chatting random shit. Like, by all means, it's fine. Don't you worry about that. Next time your brain says that, come to this stream and just listen to that again, and that'll hopefully reassure you a bit. Don't you worry. Don't let your brain be mean to you like that again. Like, bookmark that time. Approaching the kiosk, he leaned forward to ring the small bell. Always having to... Don't stop drinking coffee then! Sounds like you need a better caffeine intake vessel, I guess. He leaned forward to ring the small bell on the counter. In a pastel green shimmer, Lima Maria appeared before him, close enough that their noses almost touched. Leaning away, Miguel took a few reflexive steps back. This gave him a moment to take in her full appearance. She wore the same uniform as the other Marias, white top, coloured skirt, and headband to hold back her long, dark hair. However, Lima's attire was frantic, giving her the look of someone who had gotten dressed in a hurry. Perhaps even in the dark. Her top's buttons were in the wrong holes, leaving a lone button dangling. The lime green headband shifted on her head, losing the battle to keep her hair from falling into her face. Her attention darted from the gawking gathering behind her. She bit her lip and swallowed hard. The most captivating and interesting thing were her eyes. They flashed with brilliant light, the color matching her lime green skirt. It was a steady, static color akin to normal eyes. It was not a steady, static color akin to normal eyes. Instead, they raced in a circular motion, like a trapped comet seeking an escape route. Weird. I'm kind of imagining like a loading screen, like a little loading circle. Hello, sir, she sputtered. Did you need help? Her foot tapped with nervous energy, adding to the growing sense of urgency in her posture. The pastel green light spinning in her eyes flickered, swerving from the course set by her irises, but snapping back in line. I am currently doing passable cable management. Woo! I moved the whole setup upstairs last night. And I have no net at the moment. Fixing it right now. Oh, I hope you get it fixed soon. Cable management is such a pain in the ass. Honestly, I'm terrible at it. Oh, look, you're sleepy? Well, I hope you can have a nice rest. Have a good sleep, Luke. Good night. You can lurk, you can go. Just get the rest you need, okay? Look after yourself. See you from Minecraft tomorrow. Playing with wires sounds dangerous. Yeah, I mean, as long as they're not plugged in. Can be dangerous. She opened her mouth and prepared to say something else, so Miguel knew he needed to speak now, or he would never get a word in. Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm getting a lot of people in for Minecraft tomorrow. I have 150 feet of Cato cable to hide. Oh, have fun with that. Damn. Oh, yeah, hello? Miguel replied. So, what is this place and what can I do here? This is the recreational zone, the rec rooms. She paused for a microsecond to make air quotes surrounding the room's name. You can find any hobby needed for the Death Night Festival. What's a Death Night Festival? Well, Muertos already explained that. I just wanted to know. She nodded and gave a sound of agreement before continuing. Well, then, do you want to watch your favorite movie? We have 1,200 theaters, 820 private screening rooms, a concession stand with snacks from anywhere you can imagine. No alcohol, though. Liquor licenses are such a pain. Red tape and all that. Although you would think Raquel should be able to get it. She let out another quick laugh. It was unsettling as her tone rose and fell in a frantic, jarring way. We also have... I'm lonely. There is like 5 people wanting to play Minecraft with me tomorrow. You said you could if you get your laptop sorted. Well, if you get anything sorted, you can join us. It'll be fine. Join us. Join us. Sort out all my Minecraft shit. Okay, but why? Why break it up into separate rooms? Because it's everyone's party. No matter what they want, we are ready for any kind of party, anywhere, anytime. Like the kind of like a resort more than a bar. Oh, I think Juan Pedro said that once. The energy in her eyes skipped, raising from them and falling back onto the surface of her eyes. Her head twitched a moment before she gave a shake and looked back at him. I guess you knew that since you were there. What would you know? Oh, what didn't you know? Oh, did you know we have rooms for reading? Reading rooms? Heck yeah! That's my kind of celebration. This is the nerd section! Yay! Any kind of party? Any kind. There are probably some dodgy ones in here. Anything that people count as a celebration is available in the rec rooms. Yay! I suppose not, since you're asking me. Another pause for a laugh, this one the inverse of her previous. Although most who do that prefer the veranda and patios. You can get to those down the hall over there. Lima Maria pointed at a series of hallways on her left. Oh yeah, lock me in one of those book rooms and make me read 10k books. Woohoo! There are signs. Look for Violetta's lights. Those are the purple ones to get outside. Green is my colour. She grabbed her shirt, giving them an abrupt curtsy. They go to all the game rooms. Games of pool, card games, gyms, and a lot more. Is there a D&D room? I could list them all. Would you like me to do that? No, he gasped. While she had been the one talking, Miguel was the one who felt out of breath. I'll just take a peek around, thanks. Turning, he headed towards the nearest hallway. Lima Maria screamed, horror and panic in her voice. Not that way! Miguel froze. Why not? He whispered. What's wrong? Well, that way is to the blue room, Lima Maria added. The terror that had left her voice replaced her by her normal jittery cadence. Avoid the blue rooms. What is in the blue rooms? What is in the blue room? Why? He stretched the word out to hide the growing panic in his voice. Well, that hall leads to Azul Maria's stations because they are but blue. Blue is her color, like how the green areas are mine. She watches over everyone there, including the but. Would reading 10k books technically be a life in the Forbidden Library, since they're just gonna read that many books? For a person who doesn't like reading, yeah, I'm probably never gonna hit it. I'm gonna grow old and die before I hit 10,000. So this is in fact a life sentence, but I will do my best. I can't give up. That would be sad. That'd be boring. The last words stuck in her throat. I think, you know, when you said any kind of party, I think the blue rooms are those other kind of parties, if you know what I mean. The last words stuck in her throat, mind-mouthing, missing a connection along the way. Lima drew a deep, ragged breath. When she spoke, it was calm and deliberate, with an eerie sense of stillness. You probably wouldn't like it. Most of us tried to stay out of her way back there. It's... She stopped, a twitch in her eye as she processed the right word. Unsettling and not what you want to see. There are probably enough children's picture books. The fanfic counts, so all the one-shot fanfic I could probably go to. Like, I probably could speed it up if I was willing to. But, you know. Content. Okay. But you weren't thinking of those kind of parties? Well, I was. Okay, Miguel replied. I don't want to go in the blue rooms. Lima beamed a nervous smile. With the conversation complete, her gaze drifted around the room, following another of those sounds or sights no one else could hear. Then, since he had not left in that split second, she turned her glowing green eyes on him. There was something in them, in her manic demeanor, that confused him. On the one hand, he wanted to escape her random chaotic presence. But on the other hand, her frantic behavior was a wonder to behold. I should leave. I've got to find a purpose or celebrate my festival. I can't stop to talk to the help. Raquel might put me in a headlock. If I do. He examined the disheveled woman. The image of the woman running from his office returned to his mind. Saying something had only caused me trouble. He turned, but stopped as a tug pulled at his heart. Still, Miguel cleared his throat. Miss Lima Maria, are you okay? Did I say something wrong? No, she replied, her voice faltering. That's so nice of you to ask. I'm just doing my job. No problems here. I mean, Violetta says I drink too much coffee, but it smells good. How can I help it? Plus, it helps to stay focused. I think it helps me to stay focused. Don't you think so? I think so. Coffee? She nodded hard enough that Miguel expected her head to pop off. Oh, didn't I tell you I also run the concessions and the coffee shop back there? Lima pointed to the full assortment of snacks and a barista station. Miguel raised an eyebrow, but was no longer surprised by something new appearing. Would you like something?
Lima Maria gave a smile, and the energy flowing in her eyes settled, no longer bouncing around her irises. It slowed and flowed in a steady path. Her smile was infectious, and Miguel mirrored her grin. Sure, you only live once, right? You only die once, too. What can I get you? I can make anything you like, and I can make anything you don't like, but I don't know why you'd ask for that. Oh, sweetie, calm down. Whoa, person, you need a completely different caffeine source. You're gonna get like that. Yeah, yep, she has a problem too. She definitely has a problem. Surprise me. Miguel laughed to himself. If there was one thing the knight was good at, it was surprising him. What's one more, right? Lima laughed a little less manic than before, pulling on an apron with patchwork pockets and going to work behind the counter. She was fast, her motions a blur and a whirlwind of activities, but there was none of Raquel's precision or grace. She moved fast enough that she appeared to be in multiple places at once, each Lima at a different location. Once one pressed the coffee, another frothed the one frothed frothed the foam, and another grabbed various spices and flavorings. This should never be in something I read again. I won't. God damn it. At one point, it appeared as though two of them might have been arguing about something. But then, with a pop, they all flowed into one single Lima Maria, and the coffee components fell together. With a proud smile, she held out a cup of coffee. It was a bizarre concoction, topped high with whipped cream, caramel, and chocolate sprinkles. Everything coloured lime green. Appetizing. Thank you, As he reached out to take the cup, she let go of it. To Miguel's surprise, it did not fall, instead floating in the air as Lima fumbled through every apron pocket until she produced a marker with a flourish. She scribbled on the side and popped the cap back on the marker and dropped it back in a different pocket. Then, as if the cup were resting on a shelf, she plucked it from the air and handed it to Miguel. Careful not to drop it. Drop it? But it was just floating. Oh, that's because it's a little pick-me-up. It's a little pick-me-up. She giggled, laughing at her own pun. Well done, Lima. We love it. Her laugh reminded Miguel of something he'd heard in a haunted house, but she seemed to have a variety of mannerisms and laughs, all of which she had used in every conversation. That's not the name, though. I call this drink the casual walk. I have one before I do my room checks. Ah, how often is that? He asked, taking a quick sniff of the drink. He could make out caramel, vanilla, and some fusion of cinnamon and chocolate, but then there was some other ingredient he couldn't place. She beamed. I'm always checking the rooms. Oh no, this is why she drinks so much coffee. Can't wait to compare reading skills and pronunciation to book 9K plus. I have a feeling there's not going to be much change there. I have a feeling there isn't too. I mean, I should count how many books I've actually read on this channel. Just out of curiosity. If I go to my playlists, I should be able to see that. Because I'm kind of curious. Oh, this is my 51st reading stream, so and it's still messy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 6th book I've read on my channel out of curiosity. Did you say I was gonna play Skyrim? I said Skyrim's something I considered, I guess, but I don't think I promised Skyrim. I took an hour to the knee, I can't play Skyrim. When would I even play it right now? My schedule is booked with Minecraft and Ruiner and Higurashi. Nah, I'm probably gonna have to take breaks from some of those games sometimes to just get some variety in every so often. Gotta variety's the spice of life. Ah, Miguel replied, raising the cup in a gesture of thanks. Well, it smells wonderful. I'm sure it's delicious. For once, she did not say a word, but the way her eyes widened in anticipation spoke volumes. I do have Patreons once a month on Thursday, because I didn't want to really stream 5 times a week, because that will just absolutely wipe me out, energy-wise. Or at least I didn't want to do it often. It's probably something I can do, but like only the once a month. Oh no, she wants me to drink this now? I was hoping to get it and go. Bracing himself, Miguel decided he would take a sip, but only enough to be polite while he drank coffee. In the morning, it had never been one of his favourites. Well, no, I don't like coffee in general. One sip, and Miguel understood how plants got their energy from the sun. The liquid Lima Maria called coffee was pure energy. No sooner had it entered his mouth than energy surged through him with the force of a lightning striking his tongue. Jittery power coursed into his body, and Miguel expected to blow up like an old light bulb. Lima stepped in front of him, saying something that Miguel could not hear over the sound of his heart beating like a jackhammer in his ears. He watched her lips moving, seeing them enunciate each symbol. This must be how hummingbirds live. He let out what he thought was a slow breath to his ears, but it sounded like a hurricane blowing out a candle. Focus, Miguel. He closed his eyes, but they popped back open. His body moved too fast for even momentary rest. He tried again, forcing his eyes to shut. Focus, he repeated. You can do this. It's just a little caffeine, sugar, nuclear waste. Images of every energetic item he could imagine danced across his mind's eye. He could take another breath, his time letting it out in even and steady cadence. As his eyes flickered open, Miguel coughed. His throat was raw. Lima watched him, her head ratcheting to the side as she waited for his answer. I'm sorry, he said, his voice a whimper. I get paid tomorrow. I'm gonna do the $35 payment on your Patreon. I will appreciate that. It will be very good to get me very close to my targets of being able to live off my creative things. My creative endeavors. But also don't do too much if you can't handle that every month and shit. It's like just do as much as you can afford. Don't explode your budget. Yeah. I asked if you wanted me to add more sugar. It's kind of bland, you know. Jesus Christ. Nima reached out to take the drink. No! He coughed. The beverage had the same pleasing effect as the bar's food and drink, only ramped up with caffeine and raw power. What is this? Miguel drew the coffee back from her, afraid of what the energetic woman might deem the correct amount of sugar. No, it's fine. Lima seemed confused. No more sugar? Oh, well, suit yourself. She placed the sugar behind the counter and then returned to her uncomfortably close spot before him. He wondered how worn out the soles of her shoes must be from the sudden stops. Anything else I can do for you, Mr. Miguel? No, I think I should go have a look around. Thank you for the coffee. I'll see you again, okay, Lima? You deemed 10 tablespoons the right amount? That's too many. No. The soles of her shoes, yes, but I imagine her actual sole is worn down by the coffee. She perked up, her random energy compelling her to stand straight. That would be great. I'd enjoy that. Moving apart, they exchanged nods. Miguel was not sure when he should stop nodding. Once he had stepped into a hallway, seeing the green lights along the floor, he turned to get his bearings. By the time he peered back at the kiosk, Lima Maria had disappeared, returning to her rounds. Miguel regarded his drink. While he was not sure he would drink any more of it, the cup acted like a lightning rod to ground him. Even through the cardboard sleeve, it pulsed with radiance and heat, but it was a steady presence as he navigated the corridor lit with emerald green lights. Where the soundboard at? Is here! Is here! Right, blooming here! As Lima said, there were rooms for any activity he could imagine. Movie theaters, arcades, even courts where people played team sports. He paused as he passed one gymnasium, then returned to look back through the glass opening on the door. Is that baseball diamond inside? Holding up a hand in defeat, he moved on. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. What am I looking for? What kind of purpose or celebration would I find in a game room? D&D! You could use the tick-tock boom when a character gets roasted by another. I could. Oh, how old are you, Void? This is not tick-tock. This is the Vine boom! It's from Vine! That dead social media that people mourn. Yeah, that explains it. It's the Vine boom. You're too young. Get roasted. TikTok boom. Ugh. And we are live. Miguel thought about his hobbies, his interests. Neither he nor Vanessa played any games besides the occasional hand of cards with friends. But with none of them present, a card game would not be the same. Aren't you similar age? I am older than you by a number of years. A number of years. Maybe like 5 years. A couple more than that. A couple more than that. What? Wait, maybe 3 more than that. Maybe. BRB. Okay, snotako. What do I do for fun, then? While he absently took a sip of his drink, energy coursed through his limbs. He could put that power into moving forward as fast as he could. Within a few seconds, he was covering large portions of ground with each step. He came to a corner and twisted around, avoiding slamming into a wall. Give me a nice estimate, but okay. I just wanted to get it out the way, you know now. I might be the oldest person here then, Fed. There is no judgment for being a wee bit old here. It's all good. You can be old and on the internet. In fact, it's very fun being old and on the internet. You can be slightly wiser. You can give the whippersnappers some old advice. You should dance while you're on your own, because then you'll get the serotonin. There are really good ways to... 34 in November? Oh, that's not terrible. That's not bad. That's not bad. Most of my friends are the same age as moi. Can you smack me with your cane? Yeah, I can. I'll find one. I'll find a cane. Do I have one? 1 second. I have this like file in my little VTuber box of files that is a absolute giant random assortment of assets that I really should use more often. I don't think it's got a cane in there though. Does it have a bat instead? No, no canes. No canes today. It's got some real random shit in there though. Anyway, I was getting distracted. We are supposed to be reading a book. I know it's a baseball player. I've never actually played baseball. It's not really something that gets played here. We play rounders here, which is like baseball, but smaller. That's what we play in scale. Well, he absently took a... and then within a few seconds, he was covering large portions of ground with each step. He came to a corner and twisted to avoid slamming into a wall. In 2 more steps, he was at another turn, unable to get his feet under him. This time, he hit the wall. Miguel did not stop upon impact. Instead, the walls shifted into a set of doors, and he rolled into a conference room filled with tables and crowds of people. Unlike Miguel, the casual walk did not appear shaken or to have spilled. The drink could laugh. If drinks could laugh, he imagined the coffee would be cackling. He struggled to his feet, heart slowing since he had burned off some energy. Miguel stared at the green liquid. Then, pleased but a little surprised, it did not laugh. He turned to take in the room. As he expected, no one noticed his sudden and dramatic entrance. I'm glad I'm not a part of anyone's celebration. The room turned out to be a great conversation hall, well lit and clean. Round tables were organized into sections, with enough room for plenty of people to sit around them. But it was at the ceiling that caught Miguel's attention. Above them all were skylights showing a night sky unlike anything he'd ever seen before. The sky was packed with planets of every color, whose moons orbited fast enough that he could see them move, and a myriad of stars blinking in the darkness between everything. It makes sense that the world outside would also change. Why would it be any different? Shaking his head, he returned his attention to the room. People played a variety of games, some with dice, others with cards or plastic pieces. Something in this room called to him. Not the games themselves, but he almost thought he could hear someone calling out to him. I guess a look round couldn't hurt. He checked his knees, half expecting them to see them covered in scuffs and bruises from his fall. Drifting between the tables, he tried to watch the various games. However, none of them made any sense. Everything was gibberish to his ears, and he kept moving. There was still a prickling sensation on the back of his neck, the feeling he would get when someone was watching over his shoulder. Everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves. Occasionally someone new would step up to a table, and the others would cheer, commenting about the fact that they had been waiting, although from what Miguel saw, that was never the case. Laughter rang out at some shared jokes. People drank soda instead of beers, ales, and mixed drinks, like in the greater ballroom. Instead of platters of food and entire meals, there were snacks and chips, which he recognized from Lima's concessions. candy in the sky. It would look tasty, that's for sure. Miguel searched the room, wondering if Lima was here right now. Finding an open seat, he sat next to an older man, sorting through a stack of cards. There was something familiar about him, but Miguel could not place the face. Typical, he thought, stopping himself from taking another sip of coffee. Care for a game? The older man smiled, his face brightening as he noticed Miguel. Oh no, Miguel waved him off. No, this game looks too complicated for me. The old man gave a weak chuckle. I hear that a lot. My son said the same thing when I tried to teach him. It's not hard. Plus, he gestured around, we are all here to play. Why not join in on the fun? I suppose I could play a game. I mean, how long could it take? Famous last words. The man chuckled and extended his hand. Stephen! Miguel, he answered, taking the offered hand. Again, Miguel felt familiarity for the man, and yet, try as he might, he could not place Stephen. Do I even know a Stephen? Stephen pulled a second deck of cards from one of his many pockets on his worn backpack and explained the function of various features of them. Miguel nodded, forcing himself to focus on listening. Wait, is he about to play Magic? Is this Magic the Gathering? I thought it was just a normal deck of cards. Steven Pokemon. It could be! He's about to fight a Pokemon champion. Did anyone watch the cute little Pokemon trading card animation they made? Oh, it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was very silly. I wish it went into the actual like rules of the game a bit more, but it was very good. I very much enjoyed that. Oh, I should do streams of Pokemon trading card game. Anyway, no, let's focus. Should, it's very good. If you like your Pokemon and you like some pretty animation, it's very good. It left me with a nice smile, and that's all I need with some TV. Miguel nodded, forcing himself to focus on listening. He set down his casual walk and it slid away. Getting a paper cut at the speed of a casual walk could remove a hand. The game was not something Miguel would have ever picked up on. The rules often seem overly complicated and to contradict themselves, but Stephen spoke with such passion that Miguel enjoyed the simple act of listening to him. At one point, a piece of paper appeared beside Stephen, who jotted down numbers and information. Miguel chuckled to himself. Why didn't I think of that? Writing things down might help out. Beside him, a pad of paper and pen appeared. Just like what I used to use at the office. I would definitely play Pokemon with Bryony, but I either need a deck of cards or a Switch. Oh yeah, the Switch has the like OG Pokemon trading card game now. Yes! I forgot about that. That makes me excited. I loved that game as a kid. I forgot I put that card in the deck, Stephen remarked, and Miguel looked away from his fresh conjuring. My son used to play that all the time. I can't tell you how many times I lost to that thing. Is your son here now? Miguel asked, scanning for any newcomers. Muertos might have called this a festival for the dead, but he was thinking it was really a home for haunted house jump scare enthusiasts. Stephen moved cards around in his hand, not meeting Miguel's eyes. No, I was on my way to see him and his family. I was driving over after a doctor's visit. You know how those go. Always bad news. Traffic was a little congested. If you get a Charizard, would you be able to sell? I think I have. I say this, I don't know where my rares are from when I collected Pokemon cards as a kid. I've moved house multiple times since I was collecting as a kid, and I don't know where they are, because I did have an old Charizard. which probably would be worth a fair amount now. But it's gone. I don't know where it's gone. It's probably in my parents' attic, to be honest. Along with my really old fanfiction scribblings. I have all my dud cards, actually. But anyway. Stephen moved cards. No. The man paused, confused as he played cards from his hand. Miguel responded to his play with his own, pleased that he learned enough to do something. Nice move, Stephen said with a distracted tone. You will think this is weird, but do I know you? You know, I had a similar feeling about you. Did this guy run Miguel over? Yeah. Stephen chewed on the words. You live around here? Miguel tugged on his ear, unsure how to answer. Live around here? That would be a hard thing to say. Kid Brownie. Ooh, Charizard. Yep, this isn't worth 10 grand at all. Adult Brownie. Oh man, I wish I kept that Charizard. Wait, are they worth like 10 grand now? Like OG Charizards? The fuck? Damn, I need to find those rares because there's probably a good to be fair, mine probably isn't the 100% mint condition because, you know, it was used. I did use these cards. And got my ass kicked by my brother all the time, as older siblings do. And then by my friends because they had nice shiny new cards and I was trying to play with a classic deck of my old cards and all the new cards are overpowered compared to the old cards. So I had to buy new cards just to be able to play with my friends. Maybe if I buy Brownie's book now it'll be worth 100k in the future. It will be if there's a mistake in it. Or if I do another edition and make that one not available. Because the old edition might be worth something by now. I might be exaggerating, but I think it is worth at least 3 digits. I'm not sure about any more than that at the moment. I'd have to have a look, see what's going on. But I bet that whole book of rares I've got would probably be worth a fair amount nowadays. I say I've got, like I said, I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. I haven't sold it or anything. I just don't know where it is. He studied the older man again, taking in his features. The concern and confusion on Stephen's face was so familiar, so recent, so... Miguel sighed. He knew where he recognized Stephen. I stepped out into the road and was hit by a car. He could see Stephen behind the wheel, that same look on his face. Anger welled in Miguel's chest. He hit me with his car. He killed me and now he's playing Magic the Gathering with him. His emotions flaring, Miguel was unsure what to do. Or even what he wanted to do. He was dead and his murderer now sat across him, playing card games and making jokes, acting like he had done nothing wrong at all. Above the celestial sky flashed. Multicolored lightning shot between the planets. For the first time, everyone in the room turned their attention upwards to acknowledge the outside world. Good, he fumed. Good. It's about time people started seeing things besides themselves. I died because of this man. I'll never see my wife and family again. Outside, the wind howled. The room shook. Various pieces on various tables clattered to the ground, and people fell from their seats. Stephen was not looking at Miguel, instead mirroring above everyone else to regard the raging storm above. Miguel rose to his feet, sliding his chair back with a screech. Glowering at Stephen, he struggled to find the right damning words to hurl at his killer. The old man turned, perhaps sensing the rage coming from Miguel, or just startled by the sudden movement. As Stephen turned, he shoved his backpack, causing a small white bottle to roll flip free. Miguel's eyes fixed on it. Stephen's words echoed in his head. doctor's visits. You know how those go. Always bad news. Muertos' words returned to him. We do not tell people that they are dead. It is up to them to come to terms with their fate and move on. That is our place. That is not our place or purpose. We are servants of the recently deceased. We guide and aid, not order and instruct. What happens if a fight breaks out in this world? I have no clue. We'll find out. Would that be the ultimate revenge? Telling him he was dead? That he killed me? Yeah, it would mess him up. His mind drifted back to Raquel. How she had reacted when she thought he was calling her no fun. Would it have the same effect on him? Would it shatter his fun and give him the morose? He turned back to the bottle, seeing the prescription label. One word stood out as it rolled to a halt. Heart. Miguel let out a breath halfway between a groan and a shout. Heart attack. He died of a heart attack while going to see his family. And that's why he hit him. You okay? You okay, Miguel? Stephen asked, reaching out a hand to support the shaking man. Yeah, he replied in a near-audible whisper. Yeah, I'll be fine, just a little shaken up. Miguel shook his head, then pointed to the skylight. He still wanted to scream, to shout at Stephen, but his emotions were all jumbled up inside of him. From what Miguel could understand, he would lose on his next turn with nothing left to do. He passed the active turn to the old man. When Stephen moved to finish the game, Miguel would reveal what he knew. Lose the battle, but win the war. Stephen took a moment to study the game, the cards in his hand, and then Miguel. The more experienced player smiled, selected a card from his hand, and played it for his turn. Reading it over, Miguel frowned. Stephen, that doesn't seem like a good idea. This card, it would not help you. Wouldn't that let me win? Why give up your advantage? You must be a parent. You must not be a parent, right? Sometimes we do things to show support, even if it loses us the game. Winning isn't everything, right? Besides, if I beat you now, would you want to keep playing? Miguel flexed his hand, remembering the sensation of a plastic bag tight against his fingers. A parent. The words echoed in his mind. Then he looked back at Stephen. Helping others. His heart winced. Thank you, he replied in a whisper. I always made a mistake, but, well, thank you. Stephen furrowed his brow, confused by Miguel's confession, then shook his head before glancing at his watch with a groan. Oh, would you look at the time? Here I am, talking your ear off and playing games, when I need to be hitting the road. Traffic is probably better now. Yeah, Miguel grunted. I'm sure it'll be a smooth ride home for you. No bumps in the road. Stephen reached out a hand, and Miguel returned the gesture. Miguel, it's been a pleasure. Have a splendid night. I hope we can play again sometime. With a last nod, Stephen walked to the game room doors and faded away. Miguel watched the spot where Stephen had vanished, his emotions still roiling. I wanted to scream at him. Why didn't I? I could have gotten revenge for what? He asked himself. For an accident? Revenge? Picking up the pen, he started scribbling random words and phrases on his pad of paper. The act of writing felt good, even if it was just putting random thoughts and words to paper. He wrote until his hand cramped, and he was forced to set the pen down to examine his work. Mostly a series of jumbled phrases, but 3 words stood out. When to speak. With a groan, he crumpled the page and tossed it aside, the paper ball rolling and disappearing a short distance away. With a final groan, he collected his coffee and rose, leaving the game room. Unlike Stephen, however, he did not move on. His mind was still a storm of emotions, but walking the winding hallways helped burn off some angry energy. Everything okay, Mr. Miguel? Lima blurted as she appeared almost on top of him again. He jerked back, unsure if he would collide with her, since she too could interact with things. Everything is fine, Lima, he growled, trying to step past her and reassure and resume his angry walking. For every move he made, she countered, always staying right before him. He stepped back, putting out a hand that seemed to convince her not to get back into his immediate personal space. I'm trying to figure out what to do next. Card games are fun and all, but not really my thing. Oh, yes, I saw you learning to play. Most people don't learn new games when they're here. They just focus on what they knew before. Isn't that weird that you learned something? It's kind of a fun fact. Did you know that guy? I guess if you knew him, he could teach you something. But I have never seen that before. Kind of weird. You met someone you didn't know again. But at least you didn't fall into his cake this time. Weird storm in there too. What about arcade? There's probably an arcade in here. Anything you want to do on your last night in existence is here. She dissected everything Miguel had said and done in the game room in a happy, matter-of-fact tone, her eyes glowing with a genuine sense of curiosity. Lima appeared eager to hear his answers, even if she was not leaving him time to respond. Lima, please. He snapped at his residual agitation seeped through his voice. She stopped and recoiled from him. Miguel's anger faded, replaced with guilt, as he remembered his own written words, when to speak. I'm sorry, Lima. I shouldn't have snapped at you. No, I'm sorry. She sniffed, her little frame quivering. I know I can come on strong, but Violetta says I'm just a jitterbug, but I don't want to screw up and make someone a lost one. I don't mean to upset you. Tears welled in those vibrant green eyes as she swallowed a lump. Oh, baby, is okay? He asked himself, seeing the tears rolling down her when to speak here up this temple. Should I be talking or not? He asked himself, seeing the tears rolling down her cheeks. Miguel raised his hands in the best soothing gesture he could muster. Lima, it's okay. You're doing great. I wasn't mad at you. So he's a found one now. He's found for now. But he may become lost. But I screwed up. Placing one hand on her shoulder, he focused on his speaking. Slow down. Think. She trembled, twitching where his hand touched. You didn't screw up. I just met someone I didn't want to see. Was it me? She blurted, a tear racing a jagged pattern down her cheek. I'm supposed to make people happy, to bring them joy, but I'm always so nervous that I act too fast. I wish I could relax like Azul or be confident like Violetta, but I'm not good at my purpose, and Lima stopped. The erratic green light that whirled in her eyes became smoky grey, and her skin under Miguel's hand had become still and cold. Her legs crumpled, and Miguel fumbled to catch her as she fell to the floor. Coffee splashed from his cup, throwing whipped cream all over them. Lima! He shouted, guiding her to rest on the ground. Lima! He repeated in a whisper, unsure if he could call out for help and stay with her, or go out to find someone. He doubted anyone would hear him over the noise in the bar, and he wasn't sure how he would explain the situation. Sounds like me when I'm trying to make a streamer happy, but end up making them angry. You're just trying to help. you should. You make lots of streamers happy. I think you make them happy more than you do angry. You make me happy a lot. He doubted anyone would hear him for ba. Please don't go. Please don't go. I didn't mean to yell at you. I wasn't mad at you. You've done nothing wrong. A weak attempt at a laugh escaped her lips. I couldn't even bring myself to yell at him. But I yelled at you. What kind of man does that make me? Since she offered no answer, he continued. Not a good one. I don't know when to speak and when to keep my mouth shut. Lima Maria felt smaller now, like a piece of her was no longer there. He could not be sure if it was the vacant expression in her eyes or the chill of her skin against her arms, but on some level, she was fading away. I might not know when to speak, Lima, but I'd like you to say something right now. Miguel sighed, trying to remove a small blob of green whipped cream from her hair, hoping he could at least help in that small way, but all he did was smear it further into her hair. He chuckled. Oh, I made a mess of your hair. And the drink you gave me. I'm sorry, Lima. Miguel stretched out his legs, shifting her in his arms. What do you say? Wake up and give me one more chance? A spark of green light ran a quick circuit in her eyes. Lima! He sobbed, sitting her up. Lima, you there? She blinked. First one eye, then the other. After a few seconds, both eyes blinked in unison. What do you mean? Oh! Did I stop? This probably isn't supposed to be funny, but I found the whipped cream bit a bit funny. It is a little bit funny. I think that's supposed to be a little, like, ironically funny. He moved back, helping her up. Yes, you stopped. You got cold. I thought you were dead. Lima Maria regarded him with a curious gleam in her eyes. Dead? I cannot die since I'm not alive. I am part of the house and the party and all that. I must have messed up again. No, you didn't, Miguel repeated. I messed up. I took my anger out on you. I met the man who killed me and I was mad. You probably just thought I was mad at you, but... Lima gave a laugh, a bizarre, nervous cackle of random sounds and pitches that bordered on a shriek of panic. Oh, that makes sense. You must have been mad. I thought you were mad at me. Then I thought I failed my purpose, and I went inert. And then I got back up, and you told me what happened. Then I started telling you. Lima! Lima, you sweet child. Miguel smiled as she recited the events a few more times. At the very least, Lima was back. Panic over. She paused again, taking a breath between sentences. Why are you talking to me now? No other guests do. They never know I'm here. Why are you seeing me so much? I don't know, he answered. I guess I need someone to talk to. She considered those words, looking at him without understanding. But I never talk to people. You could talk to Raquel, or Muertos, or even Juan Pedro. Violeta says we're not supposed to bother guests or intrude on their celebrations. Well, that's okay with me. We all need someone to talk to sometimes, and if you want to talk, you talk as much as you want. Besides, Violeta isn't here. For now, you're part of my celebration. A meek smile crossed her face. Here, Miguel said, pulling a napkin from his pocket to wipe the remaining whipped cream from her hair. I'm getting better at making stuff. He smiled in satisfaction. Lima blushed, then looked at the drink in his hands. You don't like it? You haven't drank much of it. I could make you something else if you like it. If you don't like it, it's my favourite, but it's okay if... Knowing he would regret it, but knowing he might not convince her otherwise, Miguel took a big drink of the casual walk, bypassing the straw, and coating his face with thick whipped cream and green sprinkles. When the cream touched his face, Miguel felt a tingling sensation. What exactly is in this drink? Lima giggled in a calm and pleased voice. You've got a little over... Well, she made a circle in the air, indicating most of his face. As a nuclear reactor went off in his chest, Lima reached out with her own light green handkerchief. Can't have a guest making a mess of himself, she offered. Her hand was steady, and he wondered if she was calming down or if he was moving so fast she appeared still. Thank you, he offered. Now I need to walk off this energy. He held out an arm. Lima, I don't have all night to learn about this place, so could you be my guide for a while? It would just be a casual walk if you have time. She beamed, taking his arm. With a crackle in their steps, they rocketed down various green hallways, stopping for a moment to look on the guests. In the blink of an eye, they were in the reading rooms, where people sat back to back, reading their favourite novels. Aww. I wonder why I feel like I can't. 1 minute. I can't see. There we go. I wonder why I feel like I can't wait for the next briny streams when it's a day off. I don't know. I guess I'm just that good. Anyway, speaking of that good, I need to turn my light on because, you know, reading with the light off is bad. Reading with the light off is bad for your eyeballs. I'm gonna close the blinds because, you know, light pollution and all that. There we go. Back. Oh, you just like me, I guess. You like me. Really like me. Anyway. There was a warm comfort to the action. While there was not much motion, the room buzzed with static power. Why does your model flick around? Because when I step away from the computer, sometimes it picks up some movement from me walking across the room or my chair moving or something, and that's why my model goes bleh, 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 like that. There were the movie theaters where fans whooped as villains fell and heroes rose. In the board game room, pieces clacked and clicked all around. Each room they visited had its own charm, with unique guests enjoying their night together in the best way they knew how. By the end of the tour, Miguel had drunk half his coffee and had to force himself not to consume any more for fear of going off like a firework. It might have been hours, but it felt like only a few minutes had passed when Lima released his arms. I'm sorry, and this has been a lot of fun, but I have to go now. What? I am at work, Mr. Miguel, remember? This was a fun walk, but I need to start again. He nodded, and that he understood, even if his brain was having trouble putting it all together. Seeing Lima step away was like watching a part of him walk away. Okay, Lima. See you later then. Goodbye, Mr. Miguel. Thank you. This was fun. More fun than I've had in a long time. Then, in a shimmer of pastel lime-coloured light, she vanished. Poof. Miguel staggered for a moment, his head pounding from the after effects of half a casual walk, and travelling at Lima's speeds. It had been fun, and while the distraction had been nice, he was not sure what to do next. The surrounding air no longer crackled with excited green lightning. Instead, it fell over him with a calm stillness. After all that excitement, having it end would make me feel a little blue. blue. He noticed the colour of the lights. He had entered the one place Lima warned him not to go. The blue rooms. Ah, these the lewd rooms. Do 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 do. Let's find out what's in the blue rooms. A little blue like the rooms. The last chapter was green for go. I do appreciate some puns. I do. Especially as chapter titles. We like chapter titles. Oh, oh look, we're doing pretty well. We are well through this book. We're 62% of the way through this book. Crazy. We're flying through it. I'm not tired, you're tired. Nah, I am tired actually, I'm not gonna lie. I was about to say I'm not tired, but you know what, I am. It's been a week. And I'm looking forward to the restart of That Is Monday. Miguel turned, determined to leave the blue rooms, but all he could see were blue hallways leading in every direction. Shouldn't they be green? He ran back, expecting to see a branching hallway or a twist that led back to the green area, but no. Matter how much he ran or willed it, the halls and rooms remained tinted in blue. Yay! Also Minecraft tomorrow. I do need to sort that out on the Patreon. Not the Patreon, the Discord. I need to sort out the voice chat that we're gonna use. At one point, he took another sip of coffee, letting the surge of power increase his speed, but all it did was get him nowhere faster. As he was not making any progress, Miguel shifted to a comfortable walking speed and considered his options. The halls had a very different vibe from Lima's game rooms. Patreon exclusive Minecrafter? No. I just said Patreon, not Discord, because I'm a dumb. There was no activity or sound, only subdued silence, like being in a library. Or at a wake. The thought had popped into his mind, and did bring a little comfort. He walked by room after room, but did not look inside of them. Lima had called it different, and Miguel's feared what he might see inside. Madame Huertas's home could become anything, and if the blue rooms had a reputation of scaring even the servants of death, it must have been terrifying. Curiosity got the better of him, and he glanced into one of the rooms. Until now, he had seen old friends and families, soldiers in arms and loved ones returning around a table of drinks at Raquel's counter, or dancing to their heart's content. This room was unfamiliar, and based on what he was seeing, Miguel could piece together why Azul Maria's rooms had the reputation for being different. The room itself was not upsetting. Even what was happening did not seem so bad at first glance. No one inside was miserable. In fact, seeing everyone so happy was what made it so disturbing. The blue rooms are for children, for babies. Even the young are not immune. So it's definitely not what I thought it was, that's 100%. Inside the room, labelled Toys with backward S. Children painted with their fingers and coloured pictures before putting them on the walls. The little artists hanging their masterpieces, rainbow-coloured chairs and tables sized for children, filled the room as kids played and painted. No one was sad or crying. Instead, they behaved in the same carefree way they always have, celebrating their lives with juice boxes, toys, and crayons, rather than dancing, games, and drinks. This is actually really sad. Because, I mean, they're all there for a reason. They're all dead. The kids die, bro. It's not their fault, but it happens. There were some adults in the room. They sat perched on chairs as children brought toys from the toy boxes and explained every detail about what the toy was and what it did. I've had my friends' kids do that to me. Like, one of them ran up to me with his little digger and he was like, "Digger!" I was like, "Cool, what do I do?" I don't know how to deal with children. So I was like, "Hey, look, it goes forward and back." And he was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Oh, look, the digger thing goes up and down." He's like, "Yeah." It was so strange. I don't know how to deal with kids. Bittersweet tears filled his eyes as a woman wiped a smudge of chocolate from the child's mouth, her laugh soulful and cheery. The sound struck a chord with Miguel, and his hand winced from that phantom pain that had been plaguing him all night. Two mysteries remained in his mind: how he knew Muertos, and the plastic bag he had been carrying before he died. He knew how he had died, and who had caused his death, but the other details eluded him. Hey, why is the blue room a classroom? A bucket falls on Miguel's head, and the rope grabs his leg, and Satoko is revealed. Oh my gosh. No. Satoko goes straight to hell to torture people there rather than be here. But then I guess that would be Satoko's celebration, wouldn't it? So she would need someone like Miguel to help with her celebration. Not wanting to eavesdrop on this auspicious moment, he continued looking for a way out of the blue rooms. He had seen enough here to last him a long time. "Oh, hello." Azul yawned, words elongated and strained as they were stretching with her yawn. She walked with a slow and steady pace as she came up beside him. She held an infant wrapped in a blue blanket. "I didn't think you'd want to come back here. Few people wander into the blue rooms. Lima says it's because they are too different from the rest of the party. Do you like children, Mr. Miguel?" There was a calm peace to her stance. The simple act of not moving seemed to be all she needed to be happy. She rotated her neck, smiling at the small cracks and pops that came from her stiff joints. She wore the same uniform as her sisters, but with a blue theme. Whereas Lima Maria's outfit appeared to have been thrown on haphazardly, Azul Maria's clothing draped over her lazily, giving her the look of someone who could not muster the energy to finish getting ready. Clearing his throat, he thought about the nicest way to say, "No, I want to get out of here now. This place creeps me out." However, nothing came to mind, and he looked for any opening to escape. Azul did not react to his silence, seeming to enjoy standing still and being quiet. She gave the infant in her arms a gentle bounce and whispered something soothing. Miguel shifted his foot back, preparing to walk away. Then she turned her head. "Wait a minute. Is that a casual walk you have there? Lima makes the best coffee." He was told not to enter any blue rooms, but gets no penalties upon entering one. I mean, it wasn't a rule. Lima just wanted to warn him about it because no one wants to see a bunch of dead kids or have the reality of seeing a bunch of how many kids have died in one night. And babies, because, life is cruel. Her gaze was hungry, and he passed her the drink. "You're okay if I have some? I'm not supposed to take things from guests." He nodded. "Not my cup of tea." "It's a coffee!" "I know, Mr. Miguel. It's coffee, not tea." Thank you for doing my own joke there, Lima. I mean, Azul. There was an obliviousness to her words, but Miguel was more worried about anyone who could drink such a volatile concoction on purpose. Reality is sometimes disappointing. Reality is sometimes goddamn scary. Or goddamn saddening in this case. I should warn you, he started, but in one swift motion she drained the entire cup. A small green whipped cream bead formed on her mouth, and she laughed while licking it from her lips. Well, isn't that refreshing? She said, handing him the empty cup. Thank you. Her voice had a more even tone now, and she was speaking at normal conversational speed. I'm more awake now, but I see what you were trying to warn me about. Lima does not know how to add enough sugar. Well, I'll make sure she puts more in your cup next cup. It's lacking that pop. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have taken the whole thing. I could have her bring you another one, perhaps something with a little more kick. No. He likes his afterlife, thank you. He interjected as Azul Maria held up a finger to her mouth, shushing him, while nodding at the sleeping infant in her arms. Maybe 10... No! It's already too powerful! 10 tablespoons will... I want to say kill him, but he's already dead! Azul, why are you carrying a baby? Oh, it's not mine, she answered as if that explained everything. Her eyes twinkled in the blue light. She rocked the tiny figure. I'm just getting him ready. Without another word, she turned and walked back down the hall. Miguel looked behind him. He could turn and run, but where would that get him? The blue hallway seemed to stretch on without end. Here, even time itself did not seem to be in a hurry to move. Ahead, Azul approached a corner. Is that the end of the hall? He took off after her, eager to escape this place. Azul, wait up, please! She cast an exacerbated look, while making a shushing motion. Mr. Miguel, she whispered in an angry hiss. Please be quiet. If not for me, for the little ones. He closed the last few feet. Miguel heard his steps thunder in the hallway. Sorry, he whispered back. I didn't mean it. I'm still acting like I'm at a party. Oh, you are. It's merely at a smaller scale. She tickled the infant once again. Party over here, she cooed in a loud whisper. Aww. Time not being in a hurry to move. This book has some good detail. It does! Some of the descriptions have been absolutely wonderful in this book. I really liked, the description of Lima's manic energy and things like that. It's been really good. Like the way the coffee affected him. It's just been it's wonderful. So there's been some just 10 out of 10 little descriptions, and that he's able to describe things without bogging you down in an entire paragraph to describe it. He's just got some really nice couple of sentences that really get the point across that he's trying to give you. It's so good. Jerry Moore is a good writer! Before he could speak, a woman approached them and took the infant from Azul. The woman in blue exchanged a few kind words with the newcomer and waved a quiet goodbye. Who was an ancestor, she yawned with a click in her jaw. Like when you're an adult, time feels like it goes faster than when you're a kid. Oh, that's a good point. That might actually be what he's going for. Because I remember when summer holidays felt like a year. the time between school years felt like a whole ass year in itself. How could you tell? The lady in blue rolled her head and made no reply. Instead, she walked to a nearby door and prepared to step inside. The gate lets me know when the paperwork is complete, and I had just finished getting that little one ready when I noticed you in the hall. She investigated the room, then turned back to Miguel. Would you like to come in? You are welcome to come in, but I ask that you be quiet. School years did feel like forever. Miguel hesitated and looked back down the corridors. As far as he could see, the blue lights continued endlessly, so he followed her into her room. Maybe this room will connect to another hallway, or she can tell me how to get out of here. Besides, how bad can it be? It's just kids, right? You mean the devils of humanity. The cruelest of all beings, kids. Stepping inside, he saw a room filled with rows of sleeping infants, each resting in their own little crib. An information chart on the side. Some had names written on them, others did not. Where are we? This is where I watch the niños niñas. Her head bowed. I wait here with them until the gate clears. People come and collect them. She stopped by one fidgeting infant and tickled his stomach with 3 fingers. The little one laughed and she smiled back. It's not as flashy as the others, but it's important. Someone is here for them. Yeah, they break your fragile belongings and have no remorse when they smash your ceramatic relics. Yeah. Sometimes they wear green tunics while they smash your vases and go, yeah! And then take all your money that you put in the pot. It's terrible. Reaching down, she lifted an infant from its bed. Want to hold one? No, I'm not good with children. Cutting his protest short, Azul placed the infant in Miguel's arms. His body locked in place as the weight of the child rested in his arms. Miss Azul Maria, please, he hissed in quiet desperation. I don't know how to hold. You're doing just fine, she encouraged him, making slight adjustments to his arms and hands. He will not break. Don't worry so much. Her laugh was a haunting, slow melody. I have seen no one so bad with children since Violetta's tried this, although the madam wasn't much better. Somehow, over the course of a few seconds, one of the infant's legs found its way out of the blanket. He grumbled in discomfort around them. The other babies mimicked the grumpiness, and the agitation spread. If something did not happen soon, the entire room would be full of crying babies. Miguel got out, half balancing, half holding the baby with one arm. He tried to get the leg back into the blanket, but it was a losing battle. The angle was not right. He could not see the solution to the problem. As he reached out, tickling the underside of the infant's leg, the baby giggled and the sound resonated with the others. At least they aren't crying loudly. They aren't crying at all yet. There, it'll be okay. She reached both arms towards Miguel to take the little one from him. She removed the infant from his hands. Miguel clutched his right hand in slicing pain across it. Same phantom pain he had been struggling to identify all night. But now it was several times more intense. With the pain came clarity, and he remembered what the sensation was telling him. He remembered being at work, how Vanessa had called him. She wanted him to pick up streamers for a party, and had waited until the day of the event to buy them, to ensure they would not ruin the surprise. It was a simple request. When you're out at lunch, pick up some streamers for the party. Miguel remembered how he had smiled, how he had told the clerk about their plans. When he stepped outside then, I was here. And then I met Muertos. The memory pulled back. The pain subsided. It still hurt, but having a name for the memory made it more tolerable. The strength faded from his legs, and he toppled over. Miguel reached out for something to hold himself up. Azul was beside him, talking about being careful in cribs, but his brain was not registering the information. I'm just imagining that now, going to the supermarket, be like, hey, can I have a streamer for the party so they can entertain the guests? It'd be like ordering a clown, but you're ordering a streamer. Digital. Well, during COVID, I think it was on the news at one point. They were covering like this person who dresses up as princesses and goes to parties, and how she did like online versions. You could do that with streamers. You could order streamers for parties like clowns. New business idea. Hire a streamer for your party. The memory of his death came again. Miguel exhaled, then found he could no longer draw in breath. The air in the room was stagnant, as if it could not move into his lungs. His vision grew dark, and he heaved, trying to force a breath, but it would not come. With a last effort, he fell to the floor, and everything faded to black. Oh no! Miguel's eyes fluttered open to a world that was too bright. He screamed, but it was not his usual voice. Instead, it was a high-pitched squeal. What do you mean I could have gave you 1K to FaceTime your VTuber model for my birthday? That should be like a super special Patreon tier thing. Or like maybe a Kofi commission thing. Commission me 1K for a personal phone call for your birthdays of anyone. That should be a thing. I should make that a thing. Instead, it was a high-pitched squeal. His arms flailed and he noticed how pink and squishy they had become. Am I a baby? Oh no, he got isekai. He screamed again, protesting his situation. Around him, strange men and women, their faces covered in masks, moved around him. It's okay, Miguel. A woman's voice cooed, and warm hands took him from the strange masked men. He looked at the owner of the voice. She was an exhausted mess. Long strands of wet hair caked with sweat clung to her face. Mother, he called out, but his body could muster. All his body could muster was a confused grunt. For a split second, his anxiety fell away. The pain eased, and he took a tiny breath. She gave a tired giggle, handing him away. No, I don't want to go. The man's face filled Miguel's vision, and he squirmed in futile protest. He did not want this man, he wanted his mother. Miguel, he heard his mother say again. You'll be okay, child. You'll be okay. Stay with Daddy just for a little while. Then the other people were screaming, saying something in that weird language. The man holding him looked concerned, but gave him a reassuring bounce. He seemed to do what they were telling him, backing away from Miguel's mother. Miguel cried. He did not want this man. He did not want to move away. Something moved. Something Miguel could not see. There were loud noises and yelling, lots of shouting. Miguel wanted to cry, so he did. He could cry whenever he wanted. When he opened his mouth, tiny lungs filled with air, and Miguel screamed. He screamed as the world fell away. When his eyes fluttered open again, Azul Maria was standing over him. There, little one, she whispered, helping him sit up. Not too fast now. You took a nasty spill. With a ragged breath, he looked at Azul. I need to get out of here. No one goes back to the land of the living, Miguel. I know. I'm trying to move on. I need some air. And there's crying now. Much crying. I can help you with it. I can help you with, she whispered, guiding him back to his feet. He tried to walk, but tripped over his own feet. Azil caught him, righting him without effort. Together they walked to the door, Miguel resting his arms on the frame. I saw my mother. I saw myself being born. I would have been a father. Tears ran down his face. Why does it feel like death is following me? Azil Maria gave his shoulders a series of gentle squeezes. Death is not following you, Mr. Miguel. No more than anyone else. And remember, you can see everyone again. Everyone has their Death Night festival. Then where is my mother? He hissed with raw anger. If he offended her, Azil made no show of it. Her face was an impassive mask. Perhaps she's already been here, or she'll come later. It's not my Death Night festival, Mr. Miguel. How do I leave this place? She pointed into the distance. Keep going. You'll see the light you want soon enough. That's it? Then why couldn't I get out of here sooner? Every child comes to my rooms looking for something. I believe you found what you needed. Why would I want to know my son will grow up without a father? Or remember my mother dying? Azil shrugged, closing the door. I said you had what you needed, not what you wanted, Mr. Miguel. And I think with that, we'll end it there for tonight. Oh, that was sad. Oh, lordy Lou. That was very sad. Hopefully the next one's a bit nicer. Apparently Violet's rooms were all outside, so we'll see what there is in the next one. Maybe there is a marshmallow swimming pool or something. That would be lovely. That's what we need after all that sadness and being faced with lots of child death. Happy ending to the stream? I mean, yeah. I guess it's a good point to end at. We're 67% of the way through, so we maybe only got 1 or 2 more streams left of this book, and then we'll be on to a new one. Anyway, what am I saying? Oh yeah, I'm doing my goodbye, and I'm shitting! Nighty night, see you in the world of mining blocks and punching zombies. Yes, you will. That is what I will be doing tomorrow. If you would like to catch my next stream, I will have a schedule up sometime in the next 12 hours or so. And I have a book and you should read it, and there's lots of links in my description that you should click on, and that's the worst shilling I've ever heard. But if you haven't already, I would highly appreciate it if you could put a like on this video. And if you could subscribe to my channel. We are, how many away? Still 25 subs away from 400. And for my 400 subs, I will be doing a Jackbox stream and a karaoke stream. If you would like to take part in the Jackbox stream, you will need to join the Discord. If you want to take part as a player, that is. You will need to join the Discord. Because I will only be allowing people in the Discord to join as a player, but you will be able to join as an audience member in any other time. And I also realized that I've been streaming for a year now, so I'm putting together something of an anniversary stream. I don't know if it'll be next week or not. You'll find out when I put the thingy up. So I did buy something that I can use for an anniversary stream, but I will tell you about that next week, tomorrow, oh god, what are words? I cannot right now. Yeah, apparently my year was actually kind of the start of the month, but I didn't start streaming with this model until September, so we'll just do like an August anniversary. That'll be fine. But yes, next tomorrow, next tomorrow. Yeah, I'll tell you about it tomorrow. Tomorrow, after I've had a sleep, because apparently I need it. Thank you, Void. Thank you, Lucas LP. Thank you, Snow Taco. Thank you, Luke, for being in the chat. And apologies if I missed anyone in the chat. Thank you to anyone who lurked, and thank you to anyone who watches the VOD. I really appreciate you, all of you, whether you turn up for the time or whether you just watch it at your own leisure. You're all great. I love you. Good. I had fun. I hope you had fun. This has been Brownie Roast Midlife in the Forbidden Library. Goodbye.